Because there are people listening to this who are probably a little bit younger that are hyper obsessed over certain things and probably feel like that. And I just surround myself with YouTubers and people that care about YouTube, so I don't have that problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you just got to find those people that have those same obsessions. You know what I mean?
No, listen, it's obviously paid off in a huge way for you. I'm not in any way criticizing.
No,
I
don't think
I just think it's so unusual.
And I just like bringing that up for people to hear, because I'm serious. That was one of the just the things I just couldn't figure out growing up. I just couldn't find anyone that I related to, and I was miserable, so fucking miserable. And so, anyways,
but it paid off.
It did, and that's why I like saying that.
But that's the thing. It's like, and this was a thing that gets covered in Outliers, and it gets covered in when a lot of people try to study hyperachievers, like what is it about these people that makes them so successful? And with you, it's clearly this singular dedication to content creation.
Exactly.
To the point where you don't even fucking watch South Park.
Yep.
Crazy.
Well, you give up everything, even if it means you don't fit in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is what you have to do.
But it doesn't seem like it's a sacrifice for you. That's
No.
the beauty of it. The beauty of your story is that there's obviously discipline, and obviously you work hard, but it's love. It's a passion. You're clearly obsessed with this. Still, all these years in, top of the food chain, you're still guns blazing and constantly trying to add more to what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's pretty dope, dude.
I agree. I'm grateful, genuinely just grateful that I found what I loved. And it's not like a broken record, but I mean, that's the type of shit they should teach in school. You should have classes helping you find what you love. Because once you find what you love, you don't have to tell someone to study. You don't have to force someone to do it. They just do it because it's built in you. It's part of who you are.
I couldn't agree more. But the problem is, like we were talking about earlier, that you have these underpaid teachers who are not really engaged with what they're teaching. They're just kind of spitting it out in this large class. They're not connecting to the students.
But even then, what we're talking about here isn't even just supported in the curriculum.
Right.
And I don't know. See, that's where I'd have to do research. I don't know if everyone's like us, and if they found what they loved, they'd go all in or figure it out. But I don't know. I just feel like that's something that's just in general in American culture, helping people find their passion. Because I feel like that's just what holds so many people back. They're just doing shit they don't love.
100%.
Yeah.
But the question is there enough passion projects out there for everybody to do what you do or to do what I do?
Well, the thing
is,
is,
chase what they enjoy.
Because I did YouTube for no pay for years, and I did it making hardly anything. And
I did this podcast for no money for years.
Yeah,
this podcast cost me money for the first 5 or 6 years that I was doing it.
Exactly. And so even if I was making minimum wage doing YouTube, I'd still be way happier than if I was making 3 or 4 times minimum wage doing something else.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And so you also kind of have to factor that in. Whereas if you do what you love, you don't not necessarily need as much.
I think with a lot of people, the problem is external pressures. Obviously your mom wanted you to go to college, and my parents didn't want me to do a lot of the things that I did, but luckily for both of us, we didn't listen. And I think that's the thing. It's but how do you transfer that to a child? How do you tell a young kid coming up, you've got to learn how to be stubborn, and you got to learn how to know when you're right? Yeah. And you got to learn how to chase down the things that actually excite you.
The flip side, we took some big risks.
Yes.
I know, I have a friend who actually I support, similar thing, all in, $50,000 in debt, channel didn't take off, whatever, and so he quit and ruined his life. So it's it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Not everyone's gonna end up like us. And so I pay him $10,000 a month. He's good. He's not homeless anymore. But so it's I don't know. I don't know where the line is where it's where we're not giving people advice that could potentially fuck them over, because obviously that, even though you might be less happy, you have a higher chance of not being homeless by being a sheep and doing that stuff.
There's a thing like that with comedians too, right? Because